the new Real ID and whether they're going to need that to get access to the Social Security Administration buildings in case they have any issues or they want to file for benefits, survivor benefits, retirement benefits, start their Medicare, whatever the case may be. And there was kind of a public service announcement by the Secretary of Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. You know what she's famous for, but anyway, she's in charge of Department of Homeland Security, and she just did a little commercial, and that said, "Hey, starting May 7th, you're going to need a Real ID to board a plane." Okay, but she also said you're going to need a Real ID to access federal buildings, to visit federal buildings in the United States. And a lot of people say, I've got an appointment next month at Social Security. What happens if I miss my check? What if I want to sign up for Medicare? All the rest of it. Do I need a Real ID? Because estimates are that only about half of people that are supposed to have a Real ID actually got the Real ID. So does this mean half of the population out there can't go to the Social Security Administration? And the answer is no. She said that you can't get access to federal buildings. Social Security are federal buildings, but she needs to correct herself. Social Security does allow people into the building. I've contacted several of my insider sources that are in charge of offices throughout the country, and Social Security is not going to require a Real ID. Social Security has never required an ID to walk in the building, because sometimes you walk in the building because you lost your ID and you needed a new Social Security card to start the whole process of getting a new driver's license and all the rest of it. And Social Security helps homeless people on a daily basis, and they don't have a lot of ID, obviously. So the information going out there about May 7th that you're going to be blocked from a Social Security office is 100% incorrect. As of right now, we know what's going on right now, where they said about a month ago, they said, hey, you're going to have to do everything online. And then they said, you can't go into an office, or you have to go in the office, or you're going to continue your benefits, go in the office. That seems to be changing on a daily basis. And I updated everybody on that. But as of right now, you're good. And I also want to pass on one bit of information here, kind of an insider tip. If you need to go down to the local Social Security office and you have kind of a dire need type of situation, if you lost your job and you want your retirement benefits to start immediately, if you lose a spouse and you need that extra money to start, if you need to start your Medicare immediately, then you need access to Social Security office. And right now they're in an appointment only process. But because you're watching this channel and you're going to share this with all your friends and family, you know that there are exceptions, and this is it right here. So I'm going to put this in my YouTube description. So this is walk-in service. So this is what's called POMS, a policy manual, essentially the emergency message that Social Security sent out. And this is effective March 7th up until the present. There was a previous link there for the previous emergency message that is now dead. So this is the updated one. But basically, so if you need to go down to your local Social Security office and you go down there, and hopefully it's still open, hopefully there's still people in there that can help you out. If it is, and they say something like, hey, you need to set up an appointment. We can't help you today because you need an appointment. You need to call back and, we'll see you next month when you come for your appointment. You tell them, according to this policy that I have here in my little hands, you have to help me, because if it's a dire need situation, they have to help you right there. If it's a terminal illness case, called a Terry case, if you need to file for disability benefits, and that's an expedited decision in terms of your disability cases. If you have enumeration is basically if you're getting a new Social Security card, harassment or something like that. Military personnel can get in there. Vulnerable individuals facing barriers. So that's if you're homeless, if you're going to get your electricity shut off, if you're going to be evicted or something like that, you go down there and said, hey, I need help now, immediately, because of this, that, or the other. And if, there's also local management discretion on a lot of this. So if some office has light field, FO is called a field office. I ran the third busiest Social Security office in the country, and my FO was 946. But anyway, but if you have a congressional or public relation inquiry, so here's a trick, insider trick. If you go down to local Social Security office, before you go onto your congressional website. Your one of your two senators, your House representative in your district, that goes to Washington, and go in there, and all of them have a little button that says, I need help with a federal agency. Click on that button, fill it out, says, hey, I need my money to start immediately. I need my Medicare to start immediately, yada, yada, yada. And then push the button. And then guess what? It becomes a congressional inquiry. So when you go down to the local Social Security office and you talk, the first person that's going to stop you is the guard. And the guards are not Social Security employees. They are contracted guards through Federal Protective Services, a whole different agency. And so you just tell them, I'm a vulnerable population. I'm military personnel. It's a congressional. It's a public. I called my local news, and this is a PR type issue. This is a dire need, whatever the case may be. And the guard, they better let you in so you can get your business taken care of. So if you know anybody in this situation, again, this channel is all about making sure you get all the benefits you earned and need, but just as important to share that with all the people around you so they get their benefits, so they're not denied their benefits. Okay, so hopefully we've cleared that up. Hopefully the Secretary of Homeland Security will put out another public service announcement that federal buildings does not include Social Security buildings as of right now. So hopefully they don't change that. If they do, I'm going to let you know. All right. So let's go in. I'll answer questions for about another 40 minutes or so. And let's see here. I think I had a good question here. I am on SSI and just moved to Arizona from New Mexico. My benefit was short $400 this month for a screw up with Medicaid premium payment. Yeah. On the phone, SSI told me to contact DES in Tucson and ask. Yes, SSI can't do anything. Social Security Administration can't do anything about that because you moved from one state to another. And what you have is called the Medicare Savings Program. So when you were in New Mexico, the state of New Mexico, you were on Medicaid, and you were on a certain level of Medicaid, the upper levels of Medicaid that paid for your Medicare Part B premium. And then when you move to Arizona, Access, which they call Medicaid in Arizona, you need to go in there, and Arizona is interesting. I'll just put it that way. They go by their own rules in Arizona, and sometimes there's a limit. And then when you can apply for access to Medicaid, Arizona is very, very strange. But anyway, I'm sure you already know that. As soon as because this Medicaid is state administered, and now New Mexico is done with you, essentially, Arizona takes over. So New Mexico stopped paying for your Part B, the $185. Now Arizona has to decide whether they're going to pay for it. And you have to jump through, unfortunately, those hoops. Social Security really can't help you. You just have to go down to Access Medicaid and get them to pay for it. And once they pay for it, then hopefully everything will be good. If they have taken checks out, the $185 times, it looks like 1 or 2 or 3 months or whatever, then if Arizona decides, okay, yeah, we'll go ahead and pay for that $185 effective 2 months ago, then once Social Security gets that check for those 2 months, they'll refund the money that you paid. But yeah, the most important thing is to contact Access there in Arizona and get that fixed. It takes forever because it's the local Arizona computer system talking to the Social Security Administration, talking to the Medicare computer system. And they're all, based on 1970s technology. So unfortunately. I have been on SSDI since 2003, will turn 67 this year. When does it go to regular Social Security? If you were born in 1960 or after, this year. Once you turn 67, it's based on your full retirement age. If your full retirement age is 67, then your disability will automatically switch from disability benefits to regular retirement benefits. You won't even know the difference. It's the same amount, same direct deposit and stuff, but you're now free. You're no longer on disability. You're on regular old retirement benefits after your full retirement age. So you can work as much as you want. Social Security doesn't care. You no longer get the continuing disability reviews. No one cares. So you are free there. And I always recommend, it looks like it's a little bit late, but at 65, when you're on disability, in most states under 65, you can't get a Medicare supplement plan, one of those Plan N or Plan G. But when you turn 65, you can. So that's when I always recommend people on disability see if it's right for you, rather than switching from a Medicare Advantage to a Medicare supplement plan. If you're healthy-ish and you can pass underwriting, or it also depends on what state you're in. So you can call chapter there and they can check to see if a Medicare supplement is right for you. So it's 100% free service. And they sponsor our little live Q&A. So thank you, chapter. Jack, once you start your retirement at the full retirement age, can you go back to work and earn as much as you want? Or is there a limit as to the amount you're allowed to earn? Yeah, once you hit your full retirement age, you can make $1 billion a month, $1 billion a day. Yep, it doesn't matter anymore. You can make as much as you want, no issues whatsoever. And there is no negative effects. Can only be a positive effect. If you continue to work, even if you're collecting Social Security benefits, even if you're 65, 75, 85, 95, 105, Social Security will automatically recalculate your benefits if that's one of your high 35 years. So if you're 85 years old and you work and that was one of your high 35 years, Social Security will automatically look at that, kick out the low ones, add in the new one, and get you some more money. So it is a beautiful thing. That's 100% automatic. You don't have to do anything other than file your taxes. So, Martha, does this mean we have to go to get a real ID to get our Social Security direct deposits now? Nope, you're good. Real ID. She said that you need a real ID to visit federal facilities, and it might be, obviously military base. You need a, military ID, but some other, I think the EPA and some other places, yeah. If they make people have an ID before they can walk into the Social Security Administration, that is a giant issue, because I can tell you, we had thousands of visitors every single day in our office. And if we had to turn half of those people away, then there would be massive amounts of homelessness across the country. So hopefully they don't do anything that stupid. And do that. But yeah. Let's see here. What a day. Greetings to all. Hey, yes. Why you say Social Security is blocked? Again, I've already discussed that. This has been in the news for weeks. Everyone can use their passports for travel as well. They said states there's only 40-50% compliance. Yeah, that's what I saw too, about 48% compliance on the real ID. So let's see. I'm gone. I've got something else. Okay. All right. Can you use a passport to access federal buildings if you don't have a real ID? I can only speak for Social Security Administration. I don't know if you need to go to the Environmental Protected Agency or something like that, then yeah, I don't, but for Social Security, you're good. You're good. Real ID is only needed for secured federal buildings like courthouses, among other places. Yeah. And one of the things that, a lot of Social Security buildings are not in Social Security, are not in technically federal facilities. They're in leased facilities. So like my building that I ran, it was leased. It was leased by a local real estate developer, and he built the building, and we leased it from them. So it's technically not I guess it's, once you pass in the door, it becomes a federal facility, but it's not really what you think of as the federally owned building. Anyway, that's a minor technicality that you don't need to worry about. You're good in terms of going to Social Security. Wanda, I have not received my Social Security retirement. It's late, but I have not received any letter. Yeah, that's not good. If you're supposed to get direct deposit whenever, I would I'm sure you're unlike the Secretary of Commerce's mother-in-law who doesn't care if they get their Social Security check this month. I'm sure you do care. So I would call Social Security and find out what's going on. Have you been getting it every month? I, you know, the only thing that Doge and Elon Musk can do to mess it up is mess up the computer system. They can't stop benefits because those are your earned benefits. So, Real ID was supposed to be done years ago. Yes, but yeah, it was amazing. I just looked up the stats today, and only about 48% people actually do it. So, yeah, got it. I got mine, and um, I didn't really care about the Real ID part. I was more I like the military in my state. It's got the little veteran thing in there, so I can get my veteran discounts because I'm cheap like that. I asked my local post office, and they said you didn't need one there. Yeah, I don't see it. Local post office, the IRS building. Yeah, I'm not sure about the IRS buildings, but it's like, yeah, I tried to pay my taxes, but y'all wouldn't let me in the building, so I'm sure they won't take that as an excuse. But anyway, my first husband divorced me 13 years after marriage. I'm 65. Can I still receive benefits from him? I'm disabled and recovering and receiving SSDI. You've met the marriage requirement, so you were married at least 10 years. You're good. You're receiving benefits on your own record. So you were divorced, so he has to be at least 62 years old. So if he's at least 62 years old, you can definitely file for benefits on his record, and it really depends on the benefit amount, your benefit amount and his benefit amount. So it sounds like he's still out there alive and kicking somewhere. So your benefit amount has to be less than half of his. So what you do is you call Social Security and give them that person's name. If you've got their Social Security number, that's great. If not, their name, their date of birth, where they were born, and the Social Security employee can find the Social Security number of your ex, and they can see how much the benefit amount is. And if there's more money, then you're good. Yeah, and maybe, it's hopefully because you've technically maybe, depending on how old he is, you may have been able to do that 3 years ago. So hopefully you didn't lose 3 years of benefits. So, but yeah, reach out to Social Security immediately. If you called Social Security and talked to them a year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and they told you, no, you're not entitled to benefits on his record because of whatever, and that turns out to be wrong, you're protected. So you tell them that, hey, I called y'all last year and I asked, and the person on the phone said something stupid like, oh, no, your ex has to be receiving benefits, which we all know is not correct. As long as they're 62, it doesn't matter whether they're receiving benefits. If they said something like that, then you are protected. Then you say, hey, I was given wrong information a year ago. I want my benefits retroactive. I want back pay, 1 year of benefit back pay. So, but you also have to check to see if, whether that's beneficial, because anytime you take your benefits early, then they're reduced. But then again, you may get a year of back pay. So divorce was final 12/23, married 24 years. He is 63, still working. I'm a few years older, started Social Security a little earlier. Do I need to still wait until to collect off my ex-husband this year? No, if he's 63, so he is over 62. Doesn't matter whether he's receiving Social Security benefits, and you are receiving benefits on your own record. So there you go. So you call up Social Security immediately or go online and file for spouse benefits on his record. You definitely have the 10 years. He's of age, you're receiving benefits, so everything there meshes. You're not married. I assume you're not married right now. And if you're good there, then yep, you might just get some more money. Again, it really depends on his benefit amount. I was just there on 4/24, and they never mentioned Real ID or any additional monies coming. Yeah, it's good. So they didn't give you incorrect information in terms of needing the Real ID. And additional monies coming, it's only for those people, that are under the Social Security Fairness Act. So let's see. You can't access a federal courthouse and a military air base. Dr. Ed is right. You will able to get into Social Security. Yes, military ID. Yep. And courthouse, federal courthouse. Yeah, that's probably. But again, if you're going into a federal, yeah, this might be interesting. If you have to go to a federal courthouse because you have a Social Security administrative law judge that you need to see, or if your Social Security is in a federal facility, then I think they're going to make an exception on that one, because again, so many people just don't have a real ID. Half the people don't have a real ID, and are they going to stop your benefits? No, I don't think they're going to stop your benefits unless I mean, you call them up and and say, I don't think this is going to happen, but if your Social Security office is in a federal facility, a big building, and your Social Security is like the third or second, fourth or fifth floor there, and they won't let you in, you demand to call someone and say, okay, I need my check, but I can't get in the building. So I suggest you send an employee down to the first floor outside and take care of me because you're all not letting me in. So yeah, that's outrageous. Real ID is not the same as a driver's license or state ID. It can be either of those. Yes, that is correct. However, there are several other requirements to getting it. Google a real ID. Yes, it is a bit of a challenge to get it. So, which is, I guess, good. Since my full retirement age, I receive widow's benefits. Turned 69 years old yesterday. Happy birthday, Patricia. I plan to apply in January 26th for my retirement benefits. Will I need to go into the office? Will they do it automatically or apply online? Okay, so you received your survivor benefits and you didn't touch your own. You're letting your own benefits increase until you hit 70, I guess. So yeah, that's a beautiful thing. In terms of automatically, no, it does not. You have to actually take a claim. You have to file a claim for retirement benefits on your own record. So you're switching from survivor benefits to benefits on your own record. So you actually have to. You can apply online, or you can call the 800 number and schedule an appointment to get that benefit. But yeah, and remember, don't wait until after the month you turn 70. Those delayed retirement credits, which you're getting, the 8% increase on your Social Security benefit, that stops the month you turn 70 years old. So this is a liberal nut job. Oh, fear-mongering site. Every day, another crisis. It turns out to be nothing burger. Yeah, and that's exactly what I talked about. This is going around on the internet. People contacting me and says, do I have to go to, I can't get in the building. I need to go to an appointment next month and yada, yada, yada. So I am alleviating that stress. So I'm not sure where you missed the message there. Not all states have real ID, which is the star on your own driver's license. Let's see here. The problem that I encountered was the time it took to get my birth certificate. Then I needed my divorce papers. Took a year and a half to get my birth certificate from Pennsylvania. Wow, never heard. Well, I guess I actually heard. Some situations are kind of strange. But if it took you that long, and let's say you wanted to start benefits, this month, and Social Security says, okay, in order to start your benefits, we need your birth certificate. If you want to start it this month, we need your birth certificate right now. And you say, okay, I'll get it from Pennsylvania. And then it takes you months to get it for whatever reason. That's not your fault. That's Pennsylvania's fault. So hopefully in that case, they gave your benefits back. They didn't say, okay, here's your birth certificate. Here's your first check starting this month. No, hopefully they didn't do that. Hopefully they said, oh, okay, you got your birth certificate. Good, good, good. Now we'll start your benefits when you first contacted us. Hopefully you got that year of back pay. Hopefully. If you didn't, then I would reach out to them, file a SSA 561, a request for reconsideration, and say, hey, it wasn't my fault. It took me a year to get my birth certificate. I called y'all and you said you needed it. And here's what Pennsylvania told me. They said, they lost it. It was, burned down in a fire, yada, yada, yada. And it took forever to get it. So, yeah. I got approved for SSDI. It says my back pay date is today. Nothing was deposited. What happened? Your back pay date. Yeah, I'd give it a little bit of time. So hopefully, yeah, if they said your pay date is today, um, if they said your pay month is April, if that's the case, your April check comes in May. They always pay a month late. But if they actually said you will get your check on the 28th, then I would give them a couple of days, and then I'd reach out to them and say, hey, what's going on here? So. Dr. Ware, your information support services are greatly appreciated. You're welcome. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Paul, I will be eligible for Medicare this August. How soon can I apply for the Advantage plan or any supplement? About 3 months before. So at August, I would definitely start, kicking around your idea, your plan, because it sounds like you're going back between Advantage and supplement and stuff. But you still got time. So about 3 months before. So actually, I guess in May. So if you're currently receiving Social Security benefits, if you're currently receiving the money, they will sign you up for Part A and Part B automatically. And about 100 days before you turn 65, you'll get your Medicare card in the mail. And so it'll start in August there. So a couple, 3 months before then, contact your chapter, whoever you want to contact, and always say, start with Medicare supplement. Say, tell me about Medicare supplement plan N and G. What's the difference? And then, okay, what's the difference between a Medicare supplement and Medicare Advantage and the Part D and all that kind of stuff? And that way you get all the information you need and you get all your options. You don't need a real ID if you have a U.S. passport. You can get on any plane, just about anywhere in the world. Okay. Yeah, they don't really see them checking the real ID on airports. But anyway, Kim Smith, someone has emergency travel and wants to fly, they will need a real ID. Yeah, I'm not sure about the flying. I'm just talking about Social Security today. So I get spousal benefits with my own Social Security. He was unwept and okay, good. And Social Security told me I don't get anything when his Social Security is increased. Wouldn't mine change? She said, don't tell her how to do my job, and hung up on me. Wow, no. Because your benefit amount is based on that's completely unsatisfactory. Sorry about that. So if you know that, you probably don't know who you talked to and stuff last time, and next time you call them up, say, hey, rude service the previous time, and hopefully they'll do something about that. But anyway, your benefit amount as a spouse, divorced spouse, independently entitled divorced spouse, surviving spouse benefits, or whatever the case may be, is based on that person's PIA, their primary insurance amount. So if that primary insurance amount was unwept, then their benefit amount is increased, and therefore your benefit amount is increased as well. So that is 100% incorrect. So I would call someone else and get that taken care of. So. But that should be automatic because it's what's called the MBR. You are on the MBR, the master beneficiary record. You've got your spouse, ex-spouse, or whoever up there on the top of it, and as an A, BIC A it's called, and they have their PIA, and you're underneath that one as a B or a B1 or B3 or whatever, BIC, whatever. Anyway, I'm giving you too much information. And so those records are linked. So when this PIA increases, whether it's unwept or that person makes more money and, increases, they get a COLA increase or whatever the case may be, because those two records are linked, one should automatically increase. So, I don't understand that. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. That you have to be on the record. You have to be receiving that spouse benefits already, because if you're not, then you need to file a claim. So that doesn't make sense. So, Jane, I'm on Social Security. If I sell my house and move in with my son, what will happen with my Social Security? If you're just on regular Social Security, retirement benefits, SSDI, survivor benefits, spouse benefits, no relevance whatsoever. No issues. If you're on SSI, supplemental security income, the welfare-based program, then, you have a living arrangement change. You need to notify Social Security. So, and if you're receiving Medicare and you sell your house and you get a lot of money from that house, it might increase your Medicare Part B and Part D premium. It's called IRMA, Income Related Monthly Adjustment Amount. So, but there's an exception. There's an exclusion. IRS does an exclusion of the first $250,000 of capital gains, or $500,000 if you're married. So, I have a question. I'm 59 on total disability, and I get survivor benefits and also get SSDI, but not making on what I'm getting in. Is there any another supplement that I can get? Okay, so number one, you've done the right thing there. Michelle, you've done something that a lot of people miss. They think because they're receiving SSDI, they can't get any other benefits, spouse or surviving spouse. So you're good there. So that's good. But so let's see. I've got a link in my YouTube description. It's under, it says living on Social Security alone. And then I go through about 50 different programs that might help you out. So check out that video. But obviously the thing that comes on mind is, if you got Medicare, getting that $185 taken out of Medicare, contact Medicaid and see if they'll pay for your $185, your Medicare Part B premium. Check out a Medicare Advantage plan, see if you can get one of those dual plans once you get your Medicaid, see if you can, get some extra, grocery cards or something there. So yeah, there are things out there, but they do take a little effort and knowledge of how to go about it. So yeah, check out my video, living on Social Security alone. So I'm too young to be on SSDI yet. There is no such thing as too young to be on SSDI. You can be, 18 years old and on SSDI. Is there anything I can do to increase income? Yeah, check out my living on Social Security alone. Sir, thank you for your YouTube channel. You're welcome. This is our YouTube channel, right? So this is a community effort. I'm just some idiots here blabbing an hour or two every day, giving out all my experience and I guess expertise in this field, but it doesn't help anybody unless we get the information out there. Too many people are struggling, and there are benefits available that they earned and they need. So we definitely need to reach out there. So thank you, though. Appreciate it. So subscribe and like, and that teaches the algorithm that there's, What did I miss? I watched the live earlier, left the house, and now see something about millions blocked. Okay. Yeah. This is my second live of the day since I took a few days off vacation. Sorry about that. So, much ado about nothing, basically. Soul journey there. The Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, is giving out misinformation, saying you can't get into a federal facility, which, but that's not Social Security. So I just wanted to clear the air. Marianne, I'm on SSDI. I went to a casino. I was contacted saying I owed taxes, H&R Block, filed a tax return with house taxes, interest, and money won from the casino. Do I need to give its refund? So yeah, if you in terms of SSDI, because you said SSDI, not SSI, SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance, the money you made at a casino, winning, whatever, no relevance whatsoever. No relevance. If Social Security comes back and says, hey, you're receiving disability benefits, but you have earnings, then someone, the casino or someone, messed up and they reported that winnings incorrectly. And you just go down there and says, yeah, it's not work. I just, won slot machine or something. So yeah, it does not affect your Social Security disability at all. So no issues. Question, what happens if, like Kristi, you get your ID stolen? Can you get a new one quick? Yeah, I guess so. Steal your ID and shoot your dog. Yeah, so I guess they found the person that stole her ID. So that's a state issue, because those are issued by the states. You just have to go down and do the whole rigmarole with the states and get your get your new thing. Can you still get a real ID after May 7th? Yes. I am a U.S. citizen living abroad and receiving Social Security retirement. Is there anything that we need to watch out for? Um, Not necessarily. When she did her little public service announcement, she specifically said, in order to visit a federal facility in the United States, you'll need the real ID. So I'm not why she said that. So does that mean if you go to an embassy or a consulate overseas, you don't need a real? Yeah, I'm not sure. But anyway, um, but yeah, if you're living overseas, the only thing you need to keep up on is that letter that you know about. Are you still alive? Letter. You make sure you return that every year to keep your benefits going. So you have said that Medicare is automatically sent after 24 months in SSDI. That is correct. My Medicaid was canceled this month, but I don't have Medicare yet. It should come next week. Okay. Yeah, there's millions of people that have Medicare and Medicaid. So the fact that you're getting Medicare shouldn't prevent you from getting Medicaid, unless they stopped Medicaid because now you're receiving too much in terms of Social Security benefits or you got some other type of income. So that shouldn't be an issue. So the Medicaid, if why your Medicaid stopped and you're good with it, then okay. If you disagree with their decision, remember you have appeal right, so you can contact the state Medicaid office and say, "Hey, you shouldn't have stopped my Medicaid." Because if you have Medicare and Medicaid, you're called what's called dual eligible, and there's a lot of other benefits there and cost savings and stuff. And then that's when you can get one of those Medicare Advantage dual eligible plans with all the extra, grocery cards and benefits and stuff like that. If you have Medicaid, you can't get a Medicare supplement, the ones I recommend. You can only get a Medicare Advantage plan. But yeah, because your Medicare starts next week, you really need to figure out what you want to do in terms of covering all the gaps, since you did lose Medicaid. So you need to find either a Medicare supplement plan, but if you're under 65, then it's probably going to be difficult to get a Medicare supplement plan. It depends on what state you're in. But you'll be able to get a Medicare Advantage plan. They can't deny you for one of those. So I would reach out to chapter, whoever you want, and say, hey, Medicare starts here pretty soon. And they can, if you don't have your Medicare number, they can look up your Medicare number in the system and they can find your Medicare number and they'll find out, looks like you're RVing with G. So they'll sounds like since you're traveling around the country and you're Silverstream or whatever, then they'll ask you what your home address is, and then you'll get a Medicare Advantage or Medicare supplement plan based on your home address. So if you're RVing, then you need to get one to where you can travel around. That's why another reason I recommend Medicare supplement plans is there are no networks. With a Medicare supplement plan, you can go anywhere in the United States, and anybody that takes Medicare, they have to accept you. With a Medicare Advantage plan, those are the ones with the different networks and everything. So, but there are Medicare Advantage plans that have they're kind of like a passport type situation, where if you're traveling around, obviously if there's an emergency, then you can go anywhere. It's not an issue. But for regular, checkups or, getting new prescriptions or refilling prescriptions, you can get, when you call chapter, whoever says, hey, is there one that has like this passport type thing where if I'm in another state, I can use that same company's network? So yeah, definitely check that out. And that way you can keep RVing with G and keep healthy. So once you get your Medicare, look into QMB at your food stamp office. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's qualified Medicare beneficiary. Those are the ones that have that Medicare savings program that pays for the $185. Thank you, SR. Appreciate that. The DMV in Utah sent me a new driver's license with a star on it automatically. Oh, awesome. Good job. Oh, yeah, I guess usually I have to jump through some hoops and prove some other stuff, but I guess in Utah, you've proved whatever you need to prove. I know Utah, it looks as though they are going to be one of those other states that for the Medicare supplement, they just announced that they're going to come up with like a birthday rule I'm not exactly sure what some states have, like a birthday rule where you can switch to a Medicare supplement around your birthday and do all kinds of different stuff. Utah just decided to do that as well. I'm not exactly sure how it all finally, came into existence. But if you're in Utah and you have a Medicare Advantage and you'd like to get a Medicare supplement, now might be the time. You can reach out to chapter or whoever signed you up and say, "Hey, I heard Utah changed, and there was Utah, and I forget another state did it." So yeah, I would definitely check. The great thing about Medicare supplements is, again, you can go to any Medicare, any doctor or hospital clinic in the country that takes Medicare, no networks, no prior authorizations. If the doctor says you need it and it's medically necessary, it's done. You don't need the health insurance companies, second guessing you and say, "Hey, I know you need this heart operation, but, as we used to say in the Marine Corps, have you tried walking it off yet?" Yeah. So, Carol, everyone on Social Security program should receive a basic income. Yeah, SSI is kind of a basic income. If the only thing you get from Social Security is, let's say, $400 because that's all you paid into the system, then you can apply for SSI, the Supplemental Security Income, the welfare-based program. And if you're under 65, you can get SSI based on disability. If you're 65 and older, then it's called SSI aged, which is you can get SSI, that extra money, by being aged. And this year it's $967. So SSI, the max you can get is $967. So I guess in some respects that's a basic income. It kind of sucks. It's not very, it's too basic. Particularly, I mean, in some parts of the country, if you're living out in the desert, out in the country, 967, you might be able to do okay. But if you're in the city, 967 just ain't where it's at. So, does I am on power of attorney on my brother's bank account affect my SSI benefits? No, because that's not your money. You just, take care of whatever benefits for your brother. So, but be careful. Don't, if you're the power of attorney, don't go putting your name on stuff, on your brother's stuff. Because if you do, then Social Security, when you sign up for SSI, that welfare-based, low income, low resource supplemental security income, when you sign up for that, you give Social Security authorization to check stuff like that on a regular basis, and they do. So if all of a sudden they get some type of report, an alert that says your name is on this bank account and it has $6,000 in it, you'll get an alert and you'll get a nasty letter and it says, "Hey, you've got $6,000. We're going to cut your SSI off." So as long as you keep your name off that stuff, you should be good. Yeah. Thank you. Would be a blessing. Yeah. Let me see. I've had several rep payees with many addresses, and I can't log into the Social Security for the IRS website either. I don't really need it, but I guess I should make an appointment and see them in person. I've had several representative pay. So you have other people that are represented pay for you, or you are the representative pay for other people. But yeah, if you can't get into the website for whatever reason, it sounds like I've had several representative payees. So you've had other people that are representative payees for your benefits. And now, remember, if Social Security, this is a common misunderstanding for the representative payee. If you just want to be your own representative payee, and Social Security really can't, they can suggest that, okay, we don't think you can take care of your own benefits. The judge said you can't take care of your own benefits. Your doctors say you can't take care of your own benefits. And so Social Security, says you need a representative payee. But if there's nobody available, or you just don't want a representative payee, Social Security can really suggest very hard, adamantly, that you should get a representative payee. But in the final, when the day's done, you can be your own representative payee. And I know this by personal experience because my regular viewers know the Margaret story, who the lady used to come in and steal our toilet paper on a weekly basis and say her Social Security check was stolen, and then she found it the next day, and so stolen by aliens or something. And we're like, you need a representative payee. We contacted her kids, and her kids said, no, we don't want anything to do with mom anymore. So we had to give her a check. So and she came in on a regular basis and still continued to steal our toilet paper. So anyway, my friend went to get her electric trunded on there, told her you need real ID, driver wasn't good enough. Okay, yeah, sure. May 7th is a deadline. It costs more as well. Don't go running to the DMV. They are competently swamped right now. Yeah, I can imagine with everybody freaking out. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this video, is to stop people from stressing out about, okay, I don't need to go. I'm not going to fly. I'm not going to do this, but I do need to go to Social Security next month or 2 months or 3 months from now. So I guess I have to get my real ID according to the Secretary of Department of Homeland Security. And as of right now, that is not a fact. And I don't think it's going to be a fact. So, all right, we are getting close to the end here. Let's see. When I pass, I'll do 3 more questions here. When I pass away, will my ex get any of my Social Security, or will my current wife get it, all of it? Or do they split it somehow? They both can get it, and it's not split. So they get basically the same amount, and it's not reduced because you have 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, 6 ex-wives. Yeah. Could you imagine if that happened? If Social Security says, okay, if there's 3 ex-spouses, y'all have to divide it by 3 ways. And then they're like, why are you get the same amount? I was married to the person for 10 years. I was married to the person for 20. Yeah, that would never happen. Hopefully it doesn't. But anyway, yeah, they get the same amount. They'll get, in terms of survivor benefits, they'll get up to 100% of your benefit amount. And it depends on when they file for benefits. If they're full retirement age and after, then they'll get 100% of your benefit amount, and one does not affect the other. So they can all get the same amount. So, all right, let's do one more. And then we'll call it a day. Marcia, I will turn 62 September 2026. When should I apply for my SSI benefits? SSI, you can apply right now. That's welfare-based benefit. You can, if you're disabled, you can apply right now. But you're talking about Social Security, regular Social Security. About 3 or 4 months before you turn 60, before you turn 62. Remember, you have to be 62 the entire month. So possibly you won't be able to start your benefits until October, and your October check will come in November. So make sure, you prepare for that. Wow, I'm late. 2 shows today already. Yes, yeah, this is my second one. So, yeah, a lot of people. Yeah. So, all righty, that's it for today. I'm going to call this one a little bit short. I will be back again tomorrow, and I apologize for all the questions I missed. But I'll be back again tomorrow to answer some more and talk about whatever topic of the day. Y'all take care, and please take care of each other. Bye-bye.